Meeting for October 15th, 2020 to order. I'd like to ask Commissioner Neal to lead us in invocation and Commissioner Duncan to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. If we'd please stand, please.
Pray with me, please. Father, we just thank you for the opportunity of serving you. We thank you for the blessings that you bestow upon us. We thank you for this great place that we live. We thank you for the Joint Water and Sewer Commission and all of its employees that do such a great job for our community. And we just lift you up and praise your name in it. We pray that you would go with us through this meeting. Father, may your will be done. Give us clarity of thought, discernment as we discuss the items that will make our community a better place to live. And it's in your most precious name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There's no one here for public comment, so we'll proceed to the fun part of our meeting, and that's employee recognitions. Commissioner Harvey, and I think we have...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're up. Come up.
There you go. Your camera's going.
To all, I'd like to say, well, first of all, to you, congratulations. I want to tell you that. I'll tell you also about coming to work here at Joint Water and Sewer. Only the best up here. So you got the same mentality always. You got a great supervisor here who can expect nothing but the best from you. And we here as commissioners, that's what we expect you as well. Okay. If you feel that that's not for you, then I'm sorry, but we're gonna hold you to that standard. We're gonna always hold our employees to that standard. Because it really means a lot to come in here. We will make sure that you have upward mobility, we some training, so you can get, speed up. Just don't stop where you are here. Continue on until you come up with your best. Because we expect nothing but the best. That's what Mr. Riles keeps telling us all the time, nothing but the best. Please, as you go represent, you represent us. So always remember that. So when we see you, we see Joint Water and Sewer. That's all we see. And we realize that this is one of the best organizations in this city, in this community right here. So you come here and work for the best. Tells me you are one of the best. It says from the state of Georgia, board examiners for certification of water and wastewater treatment plant operators and laboratory analysts certified that Tina Renee Group has given satisfactory evidence of the necessary qualification as required by the laws of the state of Georgia and has been duly certified as a water distribution operator in the state of Georgia, the county of Glynn, in the United States. And it's signed 15th October 2020. And we offer you this hand to tell you welcome to our organization and also being a certified operator. Your boss is one of the best. Okay, so he expects nothing but the best. Anything you'd like to say?
I'd like to say, Ms. Tina Roop came to me a few years ago, searching employment. She was very diligent about wanting to work with the treatment plant. I told her other things that you can do here at this company, but she said I want to work with treatment plant. And she really proved herself over the years. She really did. She had some things changed, and those changes proved vital to the organization. And I appreciate her, and she's a very dedicated employee, and I can't say enough about it.
That's just...
Thank you for coming and work for the best.
She did pursue this job diligently. She called, she emailed. I said, there's other positions. She said, no. And I said, I want to do this. And she pursued it, and she has persevered and gotten her license. So very proud of you.
Thank you.
If I can add to that, it's a broken record. We met at a karate school Christmas party, and I showed her the list of jobs on our website. And I'm
We, thank you very much. We as a commission really do appreciate your passion for this job.
Yes, we do.
I think everyone up here and all of our staff needs to have that kind of
He was
passion.
the first of our operators that was signed in with a deadline to get her license when they came in, instead of giving them basically as long as they were here. So she was working on a deadline to get that one as well, and she was able to succeed, so.
Great.
Very good.
We need another deadline. She's an achiever.
Congratulations very much.
You represent us now, remember that. All right, there you go.
Thank you.
Commissioner Harvey, you do a great job at those presentations too.
Thanks, sir.
We'll move to committee updates. Facilities Committee, we had a Facilities Committee meeting yesterday afternoon. Basically, we've awarded a contract subject to the approval of the full commission for rehabbing 73 manholes at a total cost of $242,035. This is an ongoing kind of contract that we'll be doing every year. We only had one bidder, but the price per manhole was substantially less than what the price was last year, so we're continuing to move in the right direction on that. We also had an update on the various treatment plants. This past month was a very wet month. At each one of the plants we had, well, at the Academy Creek plant, we had 8 days over 6 inches a day of rain, and one day we had 14.4 inches of rain. I think the city experienced that in some of the roadways too, and drainage ditches. Dunbar, and of course Academy Creek throughout that though, average flow was only 75% of capacity, but on the max day, the worst day, it was at 91% of its capacity. No, Academy Creek, excuse me, was 74% capacity, and the average was 55%. Academy Creek did have one upset day where we did exceed in solids, but the good thing about that is we did not have all the units operating, which if they'd been operating, we would not have had that issue. And of course, on the upgrade that we've already let the contract on, that will be making the improvements that would have ensured that we would not have gone over on solids at that plant. The Dunbar Creek plant, it did not receive quite as much rainfall, but it did go up to 91% of its capacity on the worst day, and the average for the month was 75%. Southport had 9.6 inches per day was the maximum, and it got up to 49% of its capacity, and its average was 30%. So we still do have some II in the system. Obviously, when it rains like that and the streets flood, a lot of the infiltration comes into the top of the manhole covers and things like that. So we still need to be addressing actively II, and we will be doing that. We also had a good project report, and Mr. Klein was so nice to give us some good pictures to look at. Everybody likes to see pictures, and we got to get educated with that. But we have 27 projects underway right now, and of those, $29 million is still remaining to be spent on those projects. So our staff's very active on improving our system, and they're to be commended with that. We did table the work on the Coastal College apartments unsolicited proposal, and I think we want to table that again today.
Yes, sir.
So I think well, after we have the committee chairman, then I'll ask committee meeting updates, and I'll ask for a change in the agenda. But that's my report, and we had a finance committee meeting too. Commissioner Duncan.
Thank you, Chairman. Very briefly, we did endorse a number of items that are on the approval list today for the full commission. One item, I'll hold my powder a little bit on the audit, as Ms. Roberts will offer general comments about that. But very briefly, I just wanted to say that in regards to our financial audit, it sometimes appears to be extra work, and then when we do so well, it seems like it was not such a big deal. But it is a big deal, and our utility is held accountable by all the citizens of the county and the city, not just the ratepayers who pay directly to the utility for services, but everyone who contributes to the tax base in the county, because we enjoy the use of and we're stewards of some of the SPLOST money. So in that regard, we're accountable to everyone in Glynn County. And for that reason, it's particularly important that we perform very, very well, and our financial audit simply underscores the great job that our team is doing, everyone from the crew all the way up through the executive director. So in my view, that report, and we'll hear perhaps some more highlights on it, underscores the good work that's being done. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. We had a Human Resources Committee meeting this morning. Commissioner Elliott.
The Human Resources today, we went through the proposals, changes submitted by the staff for the employee handbook. Those are presented for the full commission to approve, and they're item 5 on the approval list. We also discussed changes to the code of conduct and the travel policy. The staff will provide changes discussed this morning at the next HR meeting, which will be in November. We also are going to have a mock safety council meeting at our November meeting, and all commissioners will be invited to that. And I want to say something on the safety council. That's one of the bright things, in my opinion, that this commission started, that is run by the staff and not upper management. So these are the employees making safety considerations for the organization, which of course are reviewed by management. But it's a very good process that we have here, in my opinion. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Elliott. We'll move to the approval section. Item 1 is the minutes from the September 17th, 2020 regular meeting. I hear a motion to accept the minutes.
Move to accept as submitted.
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0.
Mr. Chairman, could we address our agenda for the remaining items? I think it was item 7 that we
Yes.
want to table or defer.
Okay.
So for item 7, I request a change in our agenda to defer that until the next scheduled meeting.
Is there a second?
That's a motion?
That's a motion.
Okay, I second.
Any questions?
What's the background on that?
That is an unsolicited proposal that we elicited bids for because they're getting credit on tap fees, and price came in higher than what was expected, and the developer is trying to negotiate the price with the delivery.
The developer is not ready for that.
That's correct.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? So adopted. Next item is the fiscal year 2019-2020 financial audit presentation approval. Ms. Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As our Finance Committee Chairman did indicate, we brought to the Finance Committee yesterday afternoon, and almost all commissioners were able to attend. Mr. Trey Scott, a partner with Malden and Jenkins CPAs, was the gentleman who brought the presentation before the Finance Committee. A few of the key points that Mr. Scott made, he said there were no findings or management points, and they did not even have any auditor's adjustments. The number of firms with whom they deal, that he can say that he can count on one hand. So he was very complimentary of staff's handling of those issues. The management point that was in last year's audit was addressed, and he did make note of that. He did note that we've had a very strong financial year. He said our net position changed about $12.5 million, but he said some people may mistake that for thinking that we're charging too much for our ratepayers. He said that's absolutely not the case, because when you look at what we did with that $12.5 million, we made a $6 million adjustment in our capital assets. We paid down $3 million of our long-term debt, and we converted a good bit of that cash into investments. So he said this is a very strong statement to support exactly what our Finance Committee Chairman was saying. We are reinvesting in our assets to show this commitment to our community, so we're very proud that we can do so. Mr. Scott was also very complimentary of the section entitled Management's Discussion and Analysis. This portion of the report, he noted, is prepared by and provided to the auditors by staff. And I'll quote him there. He said that the MD&A from JWSC is, quote, one of the more comprehensive MD&As I've seen. So again, very strong words from our auditor there, supporting the fact that we've had a very strong financial year and are handling our items the way that we certainly need to. I don't have specific comments related to sections of the audit report since most commissioners were in attendance yesterday, but I'm happy to address any questions or concerns that anyone either has now or might have had as a result of the meeting yesterday. Other than that, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my presentation.
Thank you.
Just would like to make sure that
Yep.
we have a newspaper board on this.
Right, and, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the, and approve the financial audit as presented.
The motion is a second.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Do we have to add to that to release it to the public before we get that, or is that a given?
Yeah. Well, we're required to do that by our operating
I didn't
agreement.
know if that had to be part of it.
Well, cut the tie, you got,
Yes.
add to the motion, if you will, Commissioner Duncan, and release it to governing bodies in accordance with our operating agreement.
I'll happily make that adjustment, and I'll restate it. I'll make the motion, Brunswick-Glynn County Joint Water and Sewer Commission accept the audited financial report for fiscal year ending June 30, 2020, and authorize its release to the public and reporting agencies.
Motion is second. All in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next item, surplus inventory, Mr. Bars.
Yes, sir. We have some manhole riser rings and frames here that are inappropriate for what we're doing right now. They're the wrong size. One of them, the inner ring, one of the styles, the inner ring of the lip is too thick for the covers we use. On the other one, the outer band fits, but it's too thin, and we have issues with the existing covers bending the material. These are legacy items that have been in the warehouse for quite some time, so the request here is to declare these items as surplus and allow us to dispose of them in the manner most beneficial to the JWSC. Typically, these are declared surplus and posted on Gov Deals. For something like this, we may reach out to some contractors in the area that may work for other utilities to see if they would like to utilize these assets and sell them to them.
You ready?
Yes.
I make a motion that the Brunswick-Glynn County Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve the above listed items as surplus to be disposed of in a manner most beneficial to JWSC.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Next item is the contract award fiscal year 2021 manhole rehabilitation. Mr. Burrs?
Yes, sir. We went out for bid in mid-August for 73 manholes to be rehabbed with a calcium aluminate product, complete structural rehab of these manholes. We also had a request for alternate pricing for 3 lift station wet wells to be rehabbed with the same product. We received one bid, as discussed earlier, Biodynamic Services, in the amount of $242,035 for the base bid. We reviewed the pricing on the alternates and elected not to move forward with those alternates at this time. So the request would be to enter into a contract for the base bid amount of $242,035. That's for 73 manholes. That's a little over $3,000 a manhole. The bid last year was just over $4,000 a manhole. So getting on the right trajectory there.
Can I have a motion?
I make a motion that the Brunswick-Glynn County Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve the contract award for fiscal year 2021 structural manhole rehabilitation to Biodynamic Services, Inc. in the amount of $242,035.
Second.
There's motion second. Any questions?
We'll say this is paid for with operating funds out of the SPDM's annual budget. This is not a capital project item.
And Andrew, we're going to try to do 70 a year, something like that?
Somewhere between 50 and 75 a year. We inspect 2 to 3 times that a year. It just depends on how the scoring comes out on our inspections.
And tell the commissioners how many manholes we have.
We have about 8,400 manholes in the system. In the past 5 years, we've probably rehabbed somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 of those manholes. So certainly all of them don't need rehabbing, but there's a ongoing amount of work that needs to be done there.
And what age is a manhole before it probably needs to be rehabbed?
Depending on the location, most of these manholes that we're rehabbing are brick manholes, which were put in the 60s. So,
Okay.
you know, we've got a lot of older manholes. Some of the precast manholes need rehabbing, but they're usually not as high scoring as some of the old brick manholes that have had bricks fall out of them.
That's why you're changing the manholes to,
We just come in and coat the inside with a cementitious product that is completely structural of itself. It just needs something to provide a form for it. So we use the existing structure and you get a brand new manhole, similar to the way we do the trenchless repairs on the gravity lines.
Okay.
This one's a bit more labor intensive. You don't have a piece of equipment that does it for you.
so the brick manholes, that's not a problem.
Not a problem
Cover the
whatsoever.
inside.
Not a problem whatsoever. I'll say the craftsmanship on the old brick manholes has held up quite well over the years.
And having witnessed one being rehabbed, I encourage all listeners who have not experienced that, get and take the opportunity and go see what it really looks like.
I just handed Commissioner Neal a picture of it, so you can see what it looks like on the inside.
We have tried several products. There's multiple products for manhole rehabilitation, and this one has been by far and away the most successful.
This is the
we've
pink
utilized.
stuff.
No, this is not the pink stuff. No pink stuff. This is entirely fused calcium aluminate. The pink stuff is an epoxy product,
Okay.
and the epoxy products work pretty good, provided that you can apply it to a completely dry surface. It is
Okay.
very hard to get a completely dry manhole,
Thank you.
unless it's brand new. Then it does very well.
We voted on that, didn't we? Did we vote on that yet?
We made the motion.
We had a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Next item is the Human Resources Standard Operating Procedures, Employee Handbook Revisions. Mr. Burris?
Yes, sir. The first policy we have before you today is the harassment and workplace violence policy. At our September meeting, we went through this policy, and Ms. Barnhart from Teamwork Services brought forth a policy with suggested adjustments based off federal standards. So those adjustments have been applied to our policy here. The main things that were changed here, the protected federal classes have been updated to meet the new standards, as well as the inclusion of discrimination and sexual harassment as portions of this policy. There's another policy that also addresses sexual harassment. And then the inclusion of language about consensual romantic relationships between employees and how we handle those. There's also certainly things here about retaliation and whistleblower protection. And then we added a point at the end about alternative legal remedies. This was reviewed this morning by the HR committee, and all those changes were discussed.
Do you hear a motion?
I move that the Brunswick-Glynn County Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve the edits to Section 2.4 of the Human Resources Standards of Practice as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Next item is leak
We got
adjustments.
one more policy, sir.
Okay.
The other policy, and it was a typo on the agenda, but the other policy is the safety policy. We have one change here. At the meeting, we discussed that JWSC has an employee safety manual that is maintained by the Safety Council, as discussed this morning. So that is not referenced anywhere in our safety policy. So we added the statement that all protocols will be followed as outlined in the safety manual, and also noted that at least once annually, the Safety Council will review all safety protocols and make any necessary edits at that time. If edits are needed more frequently, they will do that, but at a minimum once annually.
Does that particular part have a defined section?
Yes, it's different than the other one.
Right.
Safety is in section 4.12.
Thank you, 4.12.
Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Brunswick-Glynn County Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve the edits to Section 4.12 of the Human Resources Standard of Practice as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries. 7-0. Next item is the leak adjustments, Westminster Club Apartments. Mr. Burris.
Yes, sir. Okay, and these leak adjustments, there was a lot of discussion yesterday about the new ordinances that we put in place last year and whether these applied. The new ordinances do state that if you have a what is deemed an unusually high water bill, which is defined as usage that is at least 2 times the customer's average monthly usage for the previous 12 months, then you are eligible for a leak adjustment. The old policy said 4 times. We've changed that to 2 times. However, upon review, the Westminster Club Apartments is not twice their normal usage, so that one is not eligible for leak adjustment. The other one will be. This was voted yesterday to put forward to the full commission, so do we need to take a vote to deny that today?
And I think the thing yesterday said 4, didn't it?
It did. Yesterday, that was before we changed the policy, it was required to be 4 times. The new policy says 2 times, and I apologize for referencing the old policy. But either way, this Westminster Club is not 2 times their complete average, so they would not be eligible. So yesterday, it was voted to move forward this to the full commission pending confirmation of the information in it. So since it was voted to move forward, we need to take a vote on this item today.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll need to vote to deny the first one.
I'll make that motion. I'll move that Brunswick-Glynn County Joint Water and Sewer Commission not approve the leak adjustment for the account of Westminster Club Apartments as presented.
I second that.
Motion is second. Any questions?
It surprised me that's not, I mean, I'm the one that yesterday brought up it's not 4 times, but looking at the math.
It's not double.
It's not double?
No.
Also, I think we are denying it because it doesn't meet our qualifications. That's one of the basic reasons.
Right, yesterday we talked about it not meeting the 4 times.
Right.
Exactly. I remember you said.
Looking at it, it does look like it meets the double to me.
Double would be 12,000 a month, and it was 11,000, or, sorry, 120,000 a month, and it was only 110,000 a month.
It's close.
Almost double. You're right.
You got, your months of the week, 60,000 is the average month, and it's 110,000, so double would be 160.
What I got shows 112, 1.2 million.
Right.
It's close.
Yeah. September was 110.
It's 103,000, so that would be 1.2 million to get double. It's not double, it's like 1.9 times.
So,
Yeah, the average is 604,517, right?
The average is 604,000, so double that would be 1,208,000. The months were 1,106,000, 1,129,000. So neither one of those months.
what is the requirement then? I mean,
It has to be deemed a excessive or unusually high water bill is water and sewer bill for a particular month that reflects monthly water usage that is at least 2 times the customer's average
so it's
monthly
usage, not dollars.
Right, usage.
Okay, yesterday we said it was dollars, that's what.
Right, and I apologize for
Fine.
the error
So,
there.
okay, I agree, it's not twice the usage. I was thinking,
Right.
because it's a sliding scale.
It would be on dollar.
Almost twice the usage would equate to probably 3 times the cost. Okay, all right.
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries 7-0.
Sir, also, with that, please let them know that they did not come up to
We will.
qualifications for that, so they won't think that we just
Certainly.
give it to them.
We'll reach out this afternoon. Yes, sir.
Sure.
And the next one on our list is the McDonald's on St. Simon's Island. Again, we referred the policy, moved this forward with confirmation of the policy. And this one is double on each month. One of them is 8 times. So this one is good to go as stated. So the request is for a leak adjustment to the McDonald's on SSI for $2,802.72.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Brunswick-Glynn County Joint Water and Sewer Commission approve the leak adjustment in the amount of $2,802.72 to the account of McDonald's located on St. Simon's Island as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries.
I do think it's worth not, the one that kind of on the subject matter, you know, before next year rate resolution, we take a hard look at this policy and make sure what we want it to see. Sounds like it's been revised a couple times. We'll make sure we kind of set a final, this is what we all agree needs to be, and take a closer look at one particular subject.
Executive Director's update.
Yes, sir. Want to let everyone know that the contracts on the Academy Creek rehab job have been agreed to, and so we will be scheduling a pre-construction meeting in the very near future. As we are approaching the holidays, I don't know that work is going to get started before January 1, but we will be starting on that work very soon. So just want to let everybody know that we have worked through the legal contracting part there. On a few other projects, the SPLOST Phase 3 projects to install the new force main down Harry Driggers and Canal, as well as the 2 pump station upgrades associated with that project. 2 water tanks that are on the list to be painted this year, and the lift station SCADA project are all possibly going to be advertised prior to our next meeting. So we're fixing to put a lot more work out in the community. We're finishing up a couple of projects, and we're going to replace them with some more. So be on the lookout for that. And the last thing I got, with the audit news that we got of how well we did, I want to recognize the work of Ms. Roberts and particularly Ms. Frances Wilson in our finance department. We were running short-staffed on finance during the audit, and they worked a lot of long hours and got a lot of work done during that period, and the results kind of speak for themselves. So I want to thank them for their hard work they put in during that period.
My report, as you see, we're busy trying to improve our system, and that's what we're here for. And I want to commend the staff, just like Andrew said, but we want to keep the projects going. We want to keep moving full throttle ahead and just meet the needs of all the citizens of Glynn County. And I appreciate everything that the commissioners do and also the staff. So we do need to go in executive session for a short session, and it's legal as relates to property. Can I have a motion to go in executive session?
Motion.
Property and personnel, okay. Motion?
Got a motion and a second. Chairman.
Motion and second. All in favor? We'll adjourn for a few minutes and go in executive session.
Turn from executive session.
Is there a second? Motion second, all in favor? Hearing none. The only comment I want to make is that we want to improve our system countywide. And we're going to be looking at every system, every private system out there, to see if it should be in our system. We're responsible for the water and sewer for all the residents of Glynn County. And we have a very good commission now. We got qualified staff, and they look to us to make sure we're providing them safe water and also safe sewage treatment. And so that's the goal that we have. We've been entrusted with that. And I just want to commend all the commissioners for the effort you're doing to make sure that we're meeting that goal. That being said, does any other commissioners have any other comments?
Sir,
Commissioner Harvey?
I just want to ask a question to Executive Director. I wasn't here for the facilities meeting either. What's happening with our proposal on ARCO?
That is under design now. They have went and finished the survey up, so they are through the 30% design. We're waiting on the 60% design drawings, but we're moving along with the design on that. Supposed to have the design completed February, I believe.
Okay.
So we are still making progress on that. Yes, sir.
And they're also working on Community Road.
Also Community Road as well. That one's about a month behind where we had ARCO start at, so it's probably end of March, early April on Community Road.
Any other comments? Hearing none, motion to meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.